Well, Georgia Republican Congressman Doug Collins is a member of the Judiciary Committee. He was there, vice chair also of the House Republican Conference, and he is calling for the appointment of a second special counsel to investigate the Department of Justice under the Obama administration and the handling of the investigation of the Clinton emails and her server. And Congressman Collins joins us now to explain all this. Congressman, welcome tonight.
That's good to be with you.
Basically, what are your questions?
Well, I think the questions are what the American people's had before. I think the president got it right. The president, the FBI, I'm a son of a law enforcement officer. I've always looked at the FBI with the greatest respect, and I agree with the director that there are many in their department that do great work. The problem is they were let down by the former attorney general, and they were let down by a very poor performance from the former director Comey. I think what the president said was it was Comey that left the issue in such a race. So what we're simply saying is, let's go back and do the job. Let's have it taken out into a council and say, let's look at it from an honest perspective. Let's say, instead of making a predetermined solution on what Ms. Clinton did or did not know, not having to have to turn a blind eye when you had an attorney general compromise a complete case. When we start looking at these kind of things, those are the kind of things that the American people want to know. We have other investigations going on that people are cooperating with. Let's put this back in perspective and let the FBI do what they have done, but let's have an independent counsel to say what happened in this and not just slip it under the rug.
Well, the FBI is investigating. The IG, the Inspector General Michael Horowitz, has a full-blown investigation on this. I mean, that's not enough for you.
Well, I think what we got to do is let's take it completely out. I mean, we don't want this. From the left, they've been saying, well, this is just make the FBI partisan or the Department of Justice partisan. Wow, they couldn't get any more partisan than what we saw on the lack of attention under the last administration. The Inspector General could still work there, but the independent counsel would be a voice that could say, here's what we're looking at, here's why we want to see why this is important, and let's hold accountable the questions that America's been asking before. Why would someone that is as smart as Hillary Clinton, someone who has been around this town, she was not unaware of what she was doing, and then also the decisions by the former director and by the former attorney general. Let's see how those actually work out, and when you do that, then you're going to get a better picture. Yeah,
we talk about the former attorney general and Mr. Comey. You're referring to Loretta Lynch, and specifically what Comey testified to that he said in testimony that made him queasy, and that is the fact that she, Miss Lynch, directed Mr. Comey to change the language in the investigation of Hillary Clinton. Don't call it an investigation. She said change it to matter. What is the difference between a matter and an investigation? Because guess what? That echoed exactly what the Clinton campaign was saying.
Well, I guess it's pretty good to have a surrogate sitting as the former attorney general, because that's exactly what it seemed like that she was saying. She's saying that let's just make this a matter. A matter is something that, it's like I've got a matter that I'm going to deal with my child's teacher. But an investigation is something that it takes down and saying we're actually looking to see if something was actually going wrong. But I guess when you get on a plane with the person who you're investigating's husband and you have no idea what talks about going on, you try to make it out as just kids. I mean, I think this whole thing just smells, and we're simply saying this is something the American people have asked about, and now let's just put it in the hands of an independent counsel. We're already seeing reports from the IG. We've already seen reports of even internally in the Mueller investigation. The president has been rightfully upset about the leaks and things coming from there. That was one of the things that we forced the director to talk about in his question of the day. What about these leaks? And he gave assurance that he was looking at it, but he was also sort of hesitant. And I think that's the one thing that we want back in the Judiciary Committee, is to say the Judiciary Committee has the prime oversight over the Department of Justice, the FISA courts, and these things, and that they need to cooperate with us. And when we ask questions, it's not a matter of will you do it, it's a matter of get it done.
Yeah, you just talk about something that smells. Some people, critics especially, say this smells. Peter Strzok, the FBI agent who's been reassigned to the Human Resources Department, I guess, he was part of the investigation and dumped from that because he allegedly sent a ton of emails supposedly bashing President Trump to a woman he apparently was involved with somehow. And this is what he supposedly, according to reports, wrote, that he changed the language about Hillary Clinton's handling of the emails from grossly negligent to extremely careless. Please explain the legal definition, because it said that if they announced grossly negligent, they would have to charge Hillary Clinton, yet extremely careless, you're just a slob.
Exactly. The problem was, and they try to make now light of it, saying, well, the synonyms are the same, they mean the same, but they don't mean the same. When you deal with the law, you deal with the written law. And the law there was very clear. If they had not changed that name, if they had not changed the characterization, then they would have had to have charged. And that would have been terrible for them because, again, seemingly acting as surrogates as they were, especially the former Attorney General Lynch, she didn't want to deal with this. She was trying to mudge this under the rug and just let it go by. Comey seemed to be, the former director got sucked in into this. I think the interesting point here that's really bothersome to many, and was bothersome to me, and I tried to point this out to the current director, you can't say that somebody was in a high-profile investigation who was the second in command in counterintelligence within the FBI, and all of a sudden he was just needed in human resources, and that this was not a demotion or lateral move. Look, this is concerning. It's time to get this stuff out in the open.
And finally, I mean, do you think the fix was in? I mean, didn't that they snooked at ours?
Well, I think that they didn't want to deal with it, and they said, well, and I think there was definite, as we've seen now, some emails, we've seen the definite way it was handled, that they wanted an outcome to come that didn't come. The American people saw through it, elected President Donald Trump, and that's where we're at today, and it's been nothing but a fight since then.
Yeah, and it still continues. Congressman Doug Collins of Georgia, we thank you tonight, and see if you do indeed get the special counsel that you're calling for.
That'd be great. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you for joining us.